desk and recording. Lisa.
Live from Burlington, Vermont.
Every year, Americans go through millions of tons of single-use plastics, and too much of that ends up in our landfills and in our oceans.
According to the EPA, in 2018 alone, we generated 14.5 million tons of plastic waste in the category of containers and packaging. That's things like bottles, straws, plastic bags, etc. And that is the equivalent to the weight of 145,000 Boeing 757s.
Luckily, there are plenty of alternatives to single-use plastic food products that we should all consider.
We're going to take a look at some of our favorite products that help you lighten the load on the environment and maybe even your wallet.
First up, Hannah.
All right, so the first plastic alternative we're going to talk about today replaces plastic wrap. I have a roll right here. Americans use a lot of this stuff, tens of millions of rolls a year, most of which ends up in a landfill somewhere. We tested 6 types of plastic wrap alternatives. I have some right here. These are pieces of fabric coated in beeswax. You put over and you warm them and they create a seal with your hands. They're biodegradable, you use them again and again, you wash them with a soap and a sponge. We loved some of these kinds, but it was a real Goldilocks situation. Some of them weren't sticky enough and it was like bending a piece of cardboard over them. They didn't create good seals, they didn't preserve the food well. Others were too sticky. They were annoying to clean, they stuck to our hands, they were hard to get on and off. Some of them, though, were just right. And this is our winner right here from Abigo, and it was obviously in the just right category. It was just sticky enough to form a perfect seal, but not too sticky that it was annoying to use. And it retained its cling through 10 cleanings, which is really important. Some of these you washed them once and then they weren't clingy anymore, which, is really wasteful. All right, so the first thing we looked at was how well these worked as makeshift lids, which, you seal something over the top of the bowl when you have leftovers or whatever, you want to keep something fresh. So I'm going to show you with our winner right here how you would seal this. I have a bowl of little teeny potatoes. So I have it placed on top, and then I'm going to use the heat of my hands just to form a tight seal. I'm going around. I like to seal it once, go around, and then just do a little bit with the heat of your hands, pick up any spots that look like they didn't seal completely, although honestly this looks like it did a pretty good job on the first go. This is all sealed, and I'm going to show you what a tight seal this is. I can shake this upside down and it's holding, and as you can see, that was pretty easy. We also use this to preserve all different kinds of foods. Halved avocados, as you know, is something that can be really testy. They go bad really quickly. So I have some back here that I wrapped up yesterday. I have one that I wrapped in plastic wrap and one that I wrapped in bees wrap. We want to wrap foods up like this so they don't get oxidized, the surfaces turn black, they become gross, you don't want to eat them. So it's to better preserve the food. And I am going to unwrap these and we are going to check out the difference. Okay, avocados are always tricky, they just live to go brown. But these look the exact same. Here, I'm going to get a little closer and show you here. Yeah, so these look, a little oxidation is always going to happen with avocados, but I think the takeaway here is that our winning wrap, it works just as well as plastic wrap. I have to say, honestly, the plastic wrap was actually harder to use. It sticks to itself. Our winning plastic wrap is much easier to use than most plastic wraps, but plastic wrap in general can be super annoying. It sticks to itself, you tear a sheet, your cutter's broken, whereas the Abigo wrap, it just goes around it like that. It doesn't stick to itself. Pause to warm it up with your hands, and then you're done. So it's actually easier to use, and performance-wise, the food is just as fresh. All right, so the next product we're going to talk about that can help you reduce single-use plastic in your kitchen are silicone reusable lids. I have one right here. It's shaped like a giant lily pad, which is so cute. And these you can use all different ways. You can use them as a lid on the stovetop, which is great. You might think, won't it melt? But it's silicone, which is actually heat resistant to much higher temperatures than plastic. So you can use it as a lid nestled inside a skillet or on top of a pot. And then you can also use it much in the same way that you would use plastic wrap. So on top of a bowl to seal food in there and keep it fresh. I actually have a little one on a can of beans in my fridge right here. And these are super easy to use. Take it off. To seal it, you put it on, you just push it down, which creates a seal, and then look at, I can just pick it right up. But they weren't all easy to use. We tested 6 of these, and they come in sets, which is cool because obviously you have different sizes of things that you want to cover. And they really fell into two categories. So there were these simple flat style, like this, and then there were ones that stretched over the top. And the ones that stretched over the top, they looked really cool, but they were really hard to use. You know, some of these you practically needed two people to like pull them and stretch them over the container. It felt like, you know, putting on a pair of pants after Thanksgiving weekend. This is actually our second place brand. They performed really well, but our winner is from GIR, which stands for Get It Right. And they had a straight line. You know, this is an adorable lily pad shape, but they were a real perfect circle, which really matched our skillets better. The reason I have the second place winner, a little insider knowledge here, is at ATK, we have a big closet where all the winners go. It's called the winner's closet. And so us testers do get to take stuff home, but it's not the winners. Winners go to the closet and we get second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th place products at home. So this is my off-brand kitchen with, sometimes I have a winner because I buy it, but otherwise things are like the, you know, best next option. All right, so these lids are fantastic. I will never go back to using plastic wrap for this kind of thing. I'm a total convert. Our winner is great too, but whatever style you get, definitely get one of the flat ones. Don't get one of those stretchy pull around ones. They were a pain in the butt to use. All right, so the next product that we're gonna talk about are straws. You know, plastic straws are a big problem. Culturally, there has been a movement away from straws. A lot of restaurants are trying not to give them automatically, or they're using compostable options, but straws are kind of nice to drink out of. You know, I love drinking out of a straw. So if you still want to use a straw, you can use a reusable straw, and then you're not, you know, doing bad things for the planet. So we tested 12 options. Some were sold singly, others were sold in sets, and there was a wide range of materials. There was bamboo, stainless steel, silicone. There were glass ones on the market, but we chose not to test them. We just figured they weren't that safe, they could possibly chip. We didn't like the bamboo straws. They were a little rough on our lips, and they made drinks actually taste like wood, which is not ideal. The silicone straws, some of them were too bendy, which we didn't like, but some were firmer, which was great. Stainless steel straws, the ones that were just made from stainless steel were a little too firm, like it was nerve-wracking sipping from them. We felt like we were gonna chip a tooth. We had two winners, and both of them we thought were great. This OXO set comes with 4 straws, 2 heights here for a shorter cup and a taller cup. We like the silicone end here. It was really soft and comfortable to sip from, and then the stainless steel body, you know, it didn't make the drink taste like anything. It was very neutral, and we love that it came with a cleaning brush because you don't want mildew or grossness to get inside there, and it's really hard to clean otherwise. We also chose a silicone winner because we loved its traveling case. Neither of our winners stained, even the one that was made fully from silicone. You know, we actually made a turmeric spiked smoothie and drank it through there, and it didn't stain, which is great because you don't want these to be smelly and stinky the next time you go to use it. All right, so whether you prefer a set that is mostly stainless steel with silicone tips, comes with a bunch of different height options and a cleaning tool, or a silicone set that has a carrying case, there's really something here for everybody. Now let's go to Lisa and see some of her favorite eco-friendly tools.
Okay, so I'm here today with our winning plastic and glass food storage containers. Now you might wonder why I'm saying buy a plastic food storage container to save on plastic, but you know, if you're using subpar, cheap, throwaway kind of plastic food containers, they're not gonna last. They're gonna break, they're gonna leak, they're gonna stain, they're gonna warp, and you're gonna end up throwing them away and getting more. If you buy good quality containers, it's one and done. So I did this testing, and I tested 11 total brands. 6 of them were plastic, 5 were glass. We looked at all kinds of factors, including their design, whether or not they leaked or were airtight, how well they stood up to freezing and heating in the microwave. We also put fish in them overnight and then smelled them after they were cleaned to see if they trapped any odors. We looked at whether they stained after they were microwaved in. Opened and closed the lids 100 times on each container. Basically put them through their paces to see if they were going to last. These were the best. We have the Rubbermaid Brilliance and the OXO Good Grips Smart Seal glass container. This one really seals tightly. In fact, it's got a really tight seal, and it didn't stain. Nothing stuck in here. It all stayed nice and clean. This gasket, unlike a lot of them, didn't trap odors. You can clean under it and it stays attached. Some of them had these little skinny gaskets that you had to pull out and clean and then try to put it back in, and that was like whack-a-mole and drove us crazy. This has both a gasket seal and you can hear the air whooshing out of it, as well as these little clips. The glass one has a gasket that comes out, but it's nice and big and easy to grab, and you can completely pull this out and wash it and put it back fairly simply. It's a completely closed gasket, so food isn't going to get up in there. That just lets the side of the glass container get right in there for a tight, tight seal, and this one didn't leak either. They're both reasonably priced. You know, obviously, reusing your old yogurt container is cheaper, and it's nice to reuse things, but if you're going to take these with you to work with your lunch or bringing them somewhere, they're going to last you a lot longer. You're not going to be throwing away containers and getting more containers. Glass versus plastic is kind of a personal choice. If you often carry things with you, plastic is much lighter, and it's you know, it's pretty unbreakable if you drop it. The glass is breakable, and it's a lot heavier, but it's also very sturdy, and it has that extra purpose where you can put it right in the oven and bake in it if you need to. Without the lid, obviously, the plastic on the lid is not good for the oven, but I reheated mac and cheese in this, and it worked great. It works as kind of a little loaf pan as well in this size. These containers are sold both individually and as sets, and there's a whole bunch of different sets. You can get them in just dozens of sizes. I have a few examples here. I have a few more. I actually put some chili in last night and stored them in my fridge. We washed these 52 times on normal cycles in the dishwasher, and then repeated all of the tests again, including heating and freezing and doing all that stuff. I froze them with water in them and then dropped them, except for the glass ones, because we wanted to know if having washed them for a year, they were going to degrade, and our winners did not. Now you can reheat these right in the container, either one of them. This is BPA-free plastic, which is considered safe for microwaving, and you can just pop these little sides up, and that has a vent underneath the snaps so that you can heat right in the microwave without splattering. In the test kitchen, we put chili in and we froze them all solid, then took them out still frozen and put them into the microwave and heated them up to 160 degrees, which is a piping hot serving temperature. These are winners, were fine. Some of them did discolor, some warped a little bit and were harder to close afterward. For this glass one, the lid is plastic, so you cannot heat it up in the oven with the plastic lid on, but you can heat it up in the microwave. They just tell you to loosen the snaps just so that it can vent a little bit, because it's so airtight. Anything when it's heating is going to expand, the hot air expands, and you're going to have a problem. I don't know that it would break, but you don't want to do that. You want to let it vent a little bit. So you just open the flaps and put the lid on loosely. We really feel that these are good containers to buy, and they're going to save you some money in the long run and keep you from using a ton of lesser quality containers over time. Well, another big problem for the environment is plastic bags. We all use them all the time. They add up. We tested a bunch of different options, and some of them are these. These are our reusable silicone bags. Our winner is by Rezip. It has a gusset at the bottom that stands up. This is the second place one that's flat. It holds up really well, and you can reuse it a bunch of times and save a lot of plastic bags. When you go to the grocery store and you're picking up produce like potatoes and leafy greens, you know, and you take those filmy little plastic bags from the produce department and you bring them home, you can skip that whole step with these reusable produce bags we tested. The Purify You set of reusable produce bags, one of the things we loved about them, they're a mesh that is a little bit breathable but very tough. We put whole pineapples in the biggest one and swung them around, and it didn't rip like a lot of the other bags we tested. We put everything down to flour in these. We put grains. Flour does come through, but grains of rice and other types of grains do not, so you can store rice in them or bring them home for if you buy in bulk. They also have these really good closures with a little bead that stays closed. It doesn't reopen and dump everything while you're transporting it home. So we love these as just a solution for not getting fistfuls of those crummy plastic bags in the produce section. A third thing you can do to save on using single-use plastic bags is to wash them and reuse them. Now obviously not when you've had raw meat in them, but for a lot of times you're throwing away bags that are barely dirty. You can put a few drops of dish soap and some warm water, swash them around, rinse them out, and hang them on a bag drying rack. We tested a bunch of them. Our winner is by Flowworks Design. It's made of repurposed wood, and it is nice with lots of tall arms to hold lots of bags and bottles open for drying, and you can reuse them a few times and just reduce the number of bags that you buy and put out there into the landfill.
All right, so those were some of our favorite products to reduce single-use plastic in your kitchens. I think Lisa would agree with me here. After we tested these in the test kitchen, we bought them for our homes. Like, the fact that they're actually easier to use really just won me over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're good for the environment. They're more durable, they're reusable, and they could even save you some money.
We think that any of these would be a great addition to your home kitchen.
So for more information about all the products we talked about, check out the links below.
Yeah, and ask us any questions you have in the comments, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.